Madhur Jaffrey is an award-winning actress, best-selling author, and cook who has captured the hearts of millions by introducing Indian cuisine to the West. Madhur was in Toronto for the Toronto International Film Festival's Food on Film series for the screening of the 2009 comedy film Today's Special, in which she starred alongside actors Aasif Mandvi and Naseerrudin Shah. Madhur chatted with ANOKHI Pulse TV about her experience working on the film, her practical and simple approach to cooking, and how she mastered the art of spices without any prior cooking experience. We're here tonight for the screening of Today's Special with Madhur Jaffrey. Tell me about what made that film special. Why was it a part of this year's lineup?
It comes from the guest. Ms. Jaffrey picked the film, and she was the ideal guest for us. She is a superstar in both food and film, and she wanted to showcase one of the latest independent films that she was in. And we thought it was fantastic because it gives our viewers a behind the scenes of an esteemed film actress with award-winning repertoire, as well as, the really kind of practical nuts and bolts of some of the spices and the secrets behind her James Beard award-winning cookbooks.
You're here for TIFF's Food on Film Festival. It will be screening Today's Special. Describe that film to me, the experience working in it.
Well, the film is one thing, experience is another. It was wonderful to work with Aasif Mandvi, who's a wonderful actor. And Aasif is a comedian. And he'd been talking about doing this film, and he had written it already, maybe 10 years before we did it. By the time he got it into production, and I was with him at so many readings before that where we were trying to raise money to do it. And the basic idea never changed, that it was a young man who really wants to study French cooking. And he gets stuck in a family situation and look after his father's restaurant, which is Indian and not very good Indian. And the experience was actually marvelous. We shot it in about a month. And it was all to do with food, so what better place could I be but on the set of this film?
Yeah. Now, when we come back to your experiences in your career as a cook, you never spent much time in the kitchen growing up. And I read that you almost failed at cooking in school, too. So then how do you build a career in cooking, not having any experience with it at all?
Well, God only knows. I think it's magical that it happened at all. I think what happens to Indians like me is that they get very good food at home. And then they come abroad, and then they're faced with this lovely new world where they can't cook anything, and there's nothing as satisfying that they can go out and eat as they had at home. So then they're forced to try and make it themselves because there's no other way. And I started writing cookbooks or collecting recipes that way. And then when I wrote my books, I found that whole generations of young students would buy my books and start cooking. And they felt at home. Somehow they could do it. They were simpler recipes. They were recipes they were used to eating. It felt like home. And they taught it to their children. And I have now 3 generations of people who've eaten my food. They taught it to their kids, and the kids have the cookbooks, and they cook, and they're giving it to their kids. So it's really wonderful to know that so many generations are cooking and doing what I did, come with no information, no knowledge, and then learn.
So would you say your approach to cooking is quite simple?
My approach to cooking is simple flavors, done with great mastery. You have to understand your spices and do them with as much knowledge and skill as you can. And it's not hard.
And so what's the main lesson you would like those who buy your cookbooks to take with them into the kitchen?
I just want them to cook food that pleases them. And it's not hard to do. And I think they should turn to a good cookbook if they don't know how to cook Indian food. They should ask their mothers first. And if they can't get that information, then they should turn to a good cookbook. Not necessarily mine, anyone's good cookbook. And follow it thoroughly for the first time. And then slowly they can start improvising. But initially, follow the recipe.